Alright. The name is Dale, doing the reviews for the movies Halloween 2018. And I'm also going to do the review for Venom. These reviews are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. Alright, we're going to start off with Halloween, the new Halloween. This is supposed to be a sequel to the original 1978 Halloween. So basically what they're doing is acting as if all the movies in between the 1978 Halloween movie and this 2018 sequel didn't exist. Like, none of those movies exist. This is supposed to be the sequel to the original Halloween movie in a nutshell. Which I don't like that. I don't like retconning or getting rid of all the other movies that was made in between that time. I feel some of those movies were good. Some of them were bad. Nonetheless, some of them were good. You know, you have your Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. I think that was made in 1980. Then I like Halloween 4 and 5. Halloween 3 had nothing to do with Michael Myers. But Halloween, the original Halloween sequel 2, and Halloween 4 and 5 were pretty good to me. And I also like the Rob Zombie version, his remake of the first Halloween. That wasn't a bad movie as well. So, this new Halloween, Michael Myers comes back to kill Jamie Lee Curtis' character after 40 years. It's actually 40 years in between the first original Halloween and this new Halloween. So they did a good job of marketing and landing this and making this film 40 years later. So kudos for them for doing that. That was a smart idea. You got John Carpenter. He comes back. He's not directing this new Halloween. He's the one that actually directed and created the Halloween character Michael Myers in 1978, the original Halloween movie. So he comes back as a producer, I believe, on this new Halloween. And he also helps with the score. He's the one that came up with that iconic score, that music you hear that's known for Michael Myers, that goes with Michael Myers in Halloween movies. That's his baby. That's his creation. So now he comes back to help with the score in this new one. Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty good. She does a good job in this movie. It was a lot of hype for this movie all year building up to the release in October. You had critics praising it, which they usually don't. They usually don't care about horror flicks for the most part. That's how it's traditionally been viewed. Horror movies been viewed. But this one had a lot of hype, and I have to say it did not live up to the hype at all. The film was watchable. It's just alright. It's just okay. I don't see what the big deal is. I was expecting it to be better than what it was. To me, it's the same old. For the most part, I think this little black boy is the best part of the movie. This little black kid, he plays in the movie. He's getting babysit at the time. And I think he's the best part. He's very funny. He steals the movie for me. He makes the movie watchable. I wish he had more screen time. And he was the best part of the movie, like I said. It was something that happens in the movie. I'm not going to spoil it. Where I thought it was a bad idea. The fake Loomis character flips, and I thought that idea was just whack in my opinion. It took me out the movie. That comes in the middle of the film, and I thought up until that part, until that scene when that happens, I thought the movie was pretty solid, and then that just kind of turned me off and kind of almost took me totally out the movie. So it downgraded it to me in many ways. So I would give this movie a C+. I was really going to give it a C, but it had some laugh out loud moments and had some entertaining moments at parts. So I'm not going to totally say it's a bad movie, because it's not, but there's nothing you go to the theaters to see, in my opinion. But that's just me. There were a lot of youngins in the crowd. They were into it. I'm sure some people my age that are really into it, but it wasn't for me. I just didn't think it was that good. I thought it was just okay. I'm guessing there's going to be a sequel to this version of Halloween. It's a Blumhouse production. They tend to do sequels to most of their horror films, and it's going to make its money. It's going to do well at the box office. So it's a good guess this is going to be a good bet, and a good guess this is going to be a sequel to this. So anyway, we're going to move on to Venom. I'm late seeing this movie. It had very mixed reviews, and it leaned more towards Venom not being a good film, so that kind of scared me off. From the jump, I was like, how are they going to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? How will they be able to pull that off? I know Venom has had solo comic book runs in the past, but the origins of Venom is so much attached to Spider-Man that I didn't see how they would be able to do this without Spider-Man. But they did a solid job of pulling it off. I have to say, I was surprised. It was better than I thought it would be. The film is about this character, Eddie Brock, who's played by Tom Hardy. He's an investigator reporter, and he digs a little too deep into this science foundation. I believe it's called Life. And things go wrong, and he gets this alien symbiote parasite that takes over his body, and now he acquires these strange but unique powers, or abilities, should I say. And the movie is, like I said, it's better than I thought it was going to be. It's funny. And I would say the best part and what makes this movie watchable, very watchable and very entertaining, is the interaction between Venom, which is the alien symbiote, and Eddie Brock. It's almost like he has a split personality. He's talking to the alien called Venom, and they have these interactions, and they're very funny, very awkward exchanges, and it makes for a good movie. I would have liked to seen a rated R version of this movie, because I had read and heard that the plan was initially that Venom was going to be a rated R movie. It's PG-13, but they started off saying it was going to be rated R, and they was going for like a horror, sci-fi horror film. So I would have liked to see them like push the envelope and go hard with this, but they chose to go PG-13 to get more butts in the seats and make money, which I can understand from a business standpoint. In an ideal solo Venom movie setup, I would have liked if Spider-Man had received the symbiote alien attachment in Avengers 4, and then Venom is the villain in the next Spider-Man movie, the second Spider-Man movie, and then you spin off to a Venom movie. I think that would have been the ideal setup and situation to make a Venom movie in the ideal world. But nonetheless, that's wishful thinking. Of course, it didn't happen that way, but it worked. I don't know how it worked, but it worked. I will give this movie a B. It's doing very well at the box office. It's making a lot of money. I thought it would be a flop. I thought it would bomb at the box office, but it didn't. I was wrong. So I can see them doing a part 2. They even set up a part 2 at the very end of this movie. And I'm very curious to see how they're going to do a sequel to this movie, being that the Venom character will be fighting this villain called Carnage. I believe that's going to be the next villain to fight Venom in the sequel. And in the comic books, Carnage, his character originally is a serial killer. So how would you do a serial killer who gets an alien attached to him named Carnage? How would you do that as a PG-13 movie? I don't know how you would pull that off. So I'm very curious to see how they do that. And I'm curious to see in the future, will we ever get that true Spider-Man versus Venom movie in any shape or form? I wonder how that's gonna happen in the future, or will it happen in the future? It should happen in the future. Sony still owns Spider-Man, even though Disney is using him in the Avenger movies and other movies they have. So the Spider-Man character is now owned by 2 different companies. So Sony still has the rights. So why not in the future? I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm gone like a turd in the wind. There you have it.